create a content marketing plan. And we believe in this, 4-1-1. This is across all social media if you're doing marketing. It basically means you don't just market your own service consistently and constantly. Because if you do that, people stop looking at your service. People stop looking at your feed. People stop engaging on your content. So what we mean by that is one hard sell post. So I might talk about black marketing, doing LinkedIn marketing, for example, or personal branding. But it's a direct sell for my company. Then I do one soft sell post, which could be about the industry of, say, social selling or content marketing, or an example of somebody else doing great personal branding. And then I do 4 unrelated posts. These are posts which bring people in. So I might talk about Singapore's economy, or leadership, or innovation, or something interesting in the UK, or something to do with Australia. Nothing to do with my business directly. But it gives me permission to actually then sell something, because you're giving. And social selling is all about as much giving as it is about marketing and selling. So think about how you can basically use your 4 unrelated posts to bring people in, create engagement, and then hit them with a hard sell on the soft sell post to create a sale. So articles are strategic, they're permanent. And they appear on LinkedIn in a very strategic way. So we use it more as a way to actually market, for example, the imagery. Because LinkedIn have actually downgraded the long form articles on LinkedIn. So they now basically don't want you to read these. They used to promote these, they don't promote these anymore. But they do go viral. I've had one over 100,000, for example. And it basically is a great way of actually doing it. But LinkedIn now want you to do short posts. But if you want to write an article, it's a great way of actually putting your thoughts out there, and you can actually do a short post from the long post, so you can have the best of both worlds. So it's worth doing it to get in the habit of actually writing a blog. You can write about your industry. You can write about your career aspiration. You can write about what you want to give to somebody else. So you think about your headline, think about your content, think about your imagery, put something on there. It's going to capture the imagination. You can add videos, you can add slides, you can add links. You can add different things to basically capture the blog in a very visual way. And then you can add links. People can click through to those particular programs, for example. And then all your articles are in one place. That's the great thing about LinkedIn, it's a library. I often get people going back to articles I wrote 6 months, 12 months, a year ago. And then the articles are also promoted down the bottom as well. So it's a great place to actually keep your articles. They always can be seen. So unlike something like Medium, for example, or other blogging platforms, your websites, they're always on LinkedIn. So always people can actually look through your old articles. So if you want to be in, say, content, or you want to be a leader, and you want to put your blogs out there, your thought leadership out there, it's a great way of doing it. And then you can actually analyze who actually came there. So unlike Medium, unlike your website, the data's on LinkedIn. So I can tell in this one, for example, which is an article about Emirates and Singapore Airlines, and why Singapore Airlines was the best airline in the world, obviously, and why Emirates isn't. I had 111 visits from people at Emirates. And then I had lots of other visits from people at Singapore Airlines. I could see what jobs they had, CEO, executive director, actually the biggest audience from Sydney. I could see my articles found through things like Facebook and Google search. Even though I'm not on Facebook, people were finding me because other people were sharing it on Facebook, for example. And interestingly, I can also tell most of my connections, those people who viewed it, were my second connections, not my first connection. So that's great data, because it means I'm influencing people beyond my network, which is obviously what you want to do to bring people in to help you progress your career. And they email you the stats as well. So LinkedIn are constantly emailing us all the interactions on LinkedIn. Same on the mobile. All your articles are there on the mobile. But short posts are where the action is now. So if you do nothing else, think about your short post strategy. This is just literally in the feed here. Up to 250 words. And you'll be amazed if you start doing some short posts, how effective and how much engagement you get. And 250 words is easy. Really, really easy. Now, Christy Lestat does some great stuff here. She's a CNN anchor. Follow her for some really, really good content. And she'll do a mixture of nice picture with an introduction to an article, for example. But her main success is when she's personal. So when Anthony Bourdain died, for example, obviously worked in CNN with her, she put in a very personal introduction, got great engagement. Same thing with Kate Spade. She actually highlighted her first Kate Spade bag. So it's personal, but it's also business. Even simple things like this, because it's Christy, she gets great engagement by putting something simple that she's doing at the weekend, for example. So it's business and personal at the same time. And often you can spot things just being out and about. In Singapore, for example. So I was at a Japanese restaurant in Asia Tower. Asked for a glass of champagne. And they gave me Moet Chandon glass. But the brand was Perrier Jouet. So they poured Perrier Jouet into a Moet Chandon glass. And then, of course, most people would then, clink your glasses, get a picture, put it on Instagram, and share it. The whole world thinks you're drinking Moet Chandon. And I asked them, why aren't you serving Perrier Jouet in Perrier Jouet glasses? And they said, we haven't broken all the Moet Chandon ones yet. Oh my God. You mean Perrier Jouet spend millions of dollars on marketing and branding, and you're serving their champagne in somebody else's, a competitor's glass? Yeah, what's wrong with that? So I wrote a blog about it on LinkedIn, because I'm a marketing person, I was like, this is outrageous. And interestingly, the marketing director of Perrier Jouet saw it and demanded to know which restaurant it was. And then went and had a word with them about smashing all the Moet Chandon glasses to make sure this didn't happen again. And she sent me a crate of champagne, not Moet Chandon, which is actually horrible champagne anyway. Perrier Jouet is much nicer. But you see these things all the time. It happens absolutely all the time. I mean, I had it happen the other day with beer, would you believe? They kept on serving me in Peroni glasses, even though we hadn't ordered any Peroni beer. I said to them, what about the other glasses? And we don't have glasses that are that size for this particular beer. We only have half glasses. It's like, they gave you this beer glass for a reason. There's a reason why you serve different glasses and with different beers and different brands. It's a brand experience. But no training, no kind of customer experience at all. And I posted that. So I got a lot of engagement there from people who basically were commenting as customer experience and training experience. And so it's business, but it's also personal. People like that because it's authentic. And you come across this on a daily basis yourself. You will come across situations where you think, that's weird, why did they do that? Photograph and put it on LinkedIn. You'd be amazed. People love to see that because it's authentic. And it's really easy to do images as well. So the photograph images, just do it from your mobile. Half the time I just do it from a mobile. It's really, really straightforward. Yeah, for example, came back from Auckland, 12-hour flight, Friday night, come back to Changi Airport and you go, home, fantastic, best airport in the world by a million miles. No queues. I just love the guy. You go to Changi Airport, Terminal 3, after a long flight, last thing you want to do is queue up, no queues. So you take a picture, put it on LinkedIn, even though it's a Friday afternoon, which is the worst time to post on LinkedIn, 7,000 views and another 50 people also saying, yes, I had the same experience. Because people can relate to that. So it's not marketing my service at all, but it's sharing something which other people, my peers, for example, people in Singapore can relate to. Then other people around the world going, wow, no queues, how is this possible? Especially if you live in Shanghai or London, it's like, you always get queues. And then the best one we ever did actually was this one here. I went to Hong Kong, and this is all kind of, you can do this as well. This is all great for your career in terms of just promote yourself in this particular way, be authentic. Went to the Ritz-Carlton, we're having a series of meetings. My room wasn't ready. I said, well, how can I have my meetings? I'm not ready and everything. I said, have our boardroom. You're sorry about the apology, we're full, we can have our boardroom. We normally charge for that, we won't charge you, tell you what, you can have it for the week. I said, wow, have the boardroom for the Ritz-Carlton for the week, fantastic. So they gave me the boardroom for the week, did a nice photograph, had lots of great meetings in there. People came up going, wow, I got the boardroom, fantastic. And then got 54,000 views in like a day, 412 likes, and 35 comments. The most important person to view it though was this man here, Rico de Blanc, because he's the CEO who owns the group, who owns the Ritz-Carlton. So he saw the post and said, I want a meeting with you. That's fantastic. We had a meeting, and this is the picture of us having the meeting. He's all in white, I'm all in black, obviously. And he basically said, I want to become your client. And he says, not only that, I want the Ritz-Carlton to become your client, and I want the Ritz-Carlton in Shanghai to become your client, and I want the W Hotel to become your client too. So one picture, this picture, got me 5 clients. And this post doesn't even mention our service. That's classic content marketing. You're sharing a genuinely authentic occasion or experience in a business situation that's personal. Someone like Rico sees it and then becomes your client. And that's often how you can do the same thing with your career. Put yourself out there, show how you're different to somebody else, share something, but in a business context on LinkedIn rather than Facebook or Instagram, you get the benefit. And literally the whole week, basically I started taking more pictures the whole week. This is a lady who's being mentored by Rico, for example, so I shared that. And then did a summary on LinkedIn on the Saturday, shared that. This became a story, and it's win-win. So I went to Australia, and this is the #1 social seller in Australia. So by taking a picture with him, holding my books, I get into his feed, and he gets into my feed. Win-win. Then you can crowdsource ideas. If you think about starting a company, or you have a brand, or you have a brand on the side, put your ideas on LinkedIn, ask people's opinion. So before we did Mohawk marketing, we went to basically ask people what to do. I always think I should have gone for this one. I should have gone the whole native Indian thing. Just reminding all the Americans they're not actually, they're all immigrants. Would have been a nice thing to do, but no, we went for the more conservative right-hand one. It's pretty true. Format matters. We tested this, for example, so we won an award, put this on LinkedIn. This way, got 1,000 views. This way, 6,000 views. So that way works better than that way on LinkedIn. So you have to think about the format as well on LinkedIn. Now, video is the key. Video is so powerful on LinkedIn now. Literally every 4 posts now is video. And you can do video too. I'm not talking about this kind of video. I'm talking about you can use your phone video. So get your personality across. Get your branding across. So I did an interview, for example, with Frederick. Put that on LinkedIn. Sharing genuinely how he gets paid $1 million a year for doing public speaking, professional speaking. So if you go to an event, take a video of you interviewing someone for 2 minutes, put it on LinkedIn and say why you thought this was a great idea, or what experience or what inspiration you gained from that event. So it can be as simple and authentic as that. It doesn't have to be rocket science. So just to test as well how effective it was versus YouTube, because everyone says, oh, YouTube's got billions of users, put it on there. Yeah, but no. We put this video up about having a new office on LinkedIn, Black Marketing, got 35 views. And I have no idea who those people are. Because on YouTube, you don't register. So they can be anybody. Whereas on LinkedIn, same video, same time, 20,000 views, lots of comments and likes, but I can tell every single person who commented, every single person who liked, and every single person who came to my profile as a result of seeing the video. So the data is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is big data because you have to register and put your data on there to basically access it. So LinkedIn is the best place to share videos in a professional context. And then of course you get all the comments and likes, which of course again, you don't get on YouTube. And native videos now play in the feed. So if you ever see Simone Heng, or listen to Simone, for example, on MediaCore, she's fantastic at this. She basically puts her phone in her studio, she records herself dancing along to a particular song, and puts it on LinkedIn. Brilliant. And she gets thousands of likes and comments. Because she clearly has a passion for her work and her job, but also she has an ulterior motive in that she wants to go beyond just being a radio presenter and be a keynote speaker, be a professional. So she's really, really good at doing this. And she puts lots of stories at the top, for example. Brilliant, she tells a story about why that song that week. So it can be something as simple as that. People love it, it's authentic, totally authentic. But without videos, her comments and likes plummet. People want to see her in action, even though she's playing music in a booth in a radio station. She's also got great taste in t-shirts. She's got the female version, I've got the male version. And you can mix it up. Sally's really good at doing this. So Sally positions herself as a media personality. I don't know why she's famous at making 200,000 pizzas. I have no idea. I still don't know to the bottom of why that's a great thing. But she mixes up the videos. 1,000 likes, 500 comments. Little comments like this, little short posts, little simple things. Doesn't have to be rocket science. This is really, really simple. She builds up followers by doing this. Just put your thoughts out there. It doesn't have to be Shakespeare. Even a picture of her, thinking about something. simple stuff. But the videos are the one that really make it for Sally. And these are authentic stuff. This is just her with a phone. She's no different to you. You're no different to her. You can do this too. And then if you have your content elsewhere, you amplify it on LinkedIn. So I write for the Business Times, put my article on LinkedIn from the Business Times. I get more viewers on LinkedIn than do the Business Times, because Business Times subscription. So you have a closed wall there. Nobody else who reads the Business Times in Singapore. But you put it on LinkedIn, suddenly everybody reads it, and you get the kudos of actually being on LinkedIn and in the Business Times. Even things like videos. Share it from YouTube, for example, and put it on LinkedIn. Podcasts, same thing. And even lawyers can do it as well. Lawyers can actually promote themselves as well. So if you look at Stephanie, she's fantastic at doing this. Now she's a lawyer. And lawyers are really, really normally very conservative. As you can tell, Stephanie is not particularly conservative. She can't do a mohawk, but she can have purple hair. And she's very much, expressing herself in what is a very male-dominated, very, very kind of much boys clubby, kind of like, Singapore professional. But she's putting herself out there as a female executive and saying, I'm better than anybody else. Joint MD, SEA's Boutique Law Firm of the Year. And she's always in the Business Times. So she actually puts all her Business Times stuff on there on a regular basis. She's an American lawyer, she puts that out there as well. Even if her colleagues are on other platforms, she puts that out there, for example. So she's marketing constantly using content, authentic content about how great her law firm is. Now this helps her career and it helps her company's career. It's brilliant. It's all free, of course, completely free. Even when she's quoted, she puts that out there as well. Brilliant. Now you want to amplify as well. So I was on Money FM last week, for example. So I put a simple, very, very simple kind of graphic up there saying I was be on Money FM with Howie. And then I put the video of the recording of the Money FM interview on LinkedIn as well. People can actually listen to it. We're doing video marketing event in a few weeks' time, for example, put that out there. So you let people know you're going to an event, you let people know you're going to speak at an event, let people know how you're going to get to the event and so forth. And then when you're at an event, take a photograph, do a video. I was at a Lego building event for teamwork about customer experience. Shared a few things from that. Simple things. So even if you're an attendee of an event, take some photographs, share the experience. What are your thoughts on that? Because your thoughts are just as valid and you're just basically positioning yourself in your career. You're letting people know, potential employers, that you're an interesting person who basically goes to some events and wants to learn. So it's brilliant. And then we do a lot where we take, for example, TripAdvisor reviews, put them on LinkedIn. Because you're taking it from a B2C platform, put it on a B2B platform. And great example about how you can build up with content. Steve here, he used to be in Singapore, he had 1,000 connections. Now he has 250,000 in 4 years, just by sharing content on a regular basis. You can do the same thing. There's no reason why you can't post things that are interesting too. Steve, no different to you. He's always posting stuff about his career or his thoughts or marketing campaigns. That's all he's doing. And he answers every single comment, which is key to LinkedIn. You've got to answer every single thing because that makes it go viral. Tony Hughes does the same thing. He's also up to 250,000. And he just posts short posts on a daily basis. And he's contributing, giving, and he answers everything. You also can curate. So if you don't want to post, you can curate. And you can take it from, say, one of the influencers like Richard Branson or Bill Gates, or from companies, or from groups, for example. You can also choose free sources like The Guardian, for example, or Tech in Asia, South China Morning Post. So these are free. It means when someone's sharing it, they have to go through a paywall. Today's particularly good for that, for example. Whereas the Business Times, the Financial Times, the WSJ are all subscription. So it means that if you're sharing from this, that someone has to actually be a subscriber to get the full benefit. You can also use things like Google Alerts. We set up Google Alerts, for example. So I have a Google Alert for LinkedIn. So on a daily basis, I get information that LinkedIn does not produce, but other people produce. You know, bloggers, for example, or reviews, or the Forbes. I get told, and I have a different folder on my Google that has all my Google Alerts in, which could be brand experience, or social influencers, or leadership, or Asia, or Singapore, for example. And on the LinkedIn app, it's really, really easy. Just look at a piece of information and go to the share, go to LinkedIn, and then share it. Simple as that. And then something like Hootsuite or Buffer, you can actually schedule. So I'm posting now, even though I'm doing this talk to you. So I'm using Buffer. So I schedule at different times of the day because I'm targeting, say, Europe or America, Australia, New Zealand. So I have to be hitting their commuting time, for example. And Hootsuite will even give you content. You can also look at what's trending. Google gives you trending topics now, and other platforms do this as well. So you can actually see. And then you can see, for example, things like what the top words are. Interestingly, top word for 2017 was truth. I think irony should have been number 2. You can also replace images. So you don't like an image, like this is our website, I can put another image in, for example. You can also personalize it. If you're going to share something, let people know you've read it. So I like this. I shared something about Elon Musk, love him or hate him. And I like this interview in the Rolling Stone. I like the fact that this was a quote about Elon Musk's office. So you can imagine Elon Musk's office, probably titanium, has rockets going up, pictures of Mars over here, aliens over here. And he has this quote. He said, on Elon Musk's wall in the office, he has this quote that says, "When you wish upon a falling star, your dreams can come true, unless it's really a meteor hurtling towards Earth, which will destroy all life. Then you're pretty much hosed. And no matter what you wish for, unless you wish for death by meteorite." And you can imagine Elon Musk having that on his wall. This one here, like I shared it from the FT. The Wolf of Wall Street warns of impending cryptocurrency scam. And I thought he would know one when he sees one. Because obviously he's the Wolf of Wall Street. Oh, this one here, I like Mark Ritson, because he's a bit like me in my approach to content. And he said, my philosophy is, I go through all my comments, and I've achieved success if 30 people support me, 38 people disagree or don't disagree, and 32 thinks he's a tosser. So that's the magic ratio, a third, a third, a third. Because there's nothing worse than putting content up and then basically everyone agrees on it's just bland. And no pictures sometimes work as well, because sometimes in where internet connections aren't great, like Australia, or Pakistan or India or whatever, some parts of China, then sometimes the pictures don't come up. And videos don't come up always in China, for example. And then you can tag people. So tagging people is phenomenally useful. So you can tag everyone here, for example. So Andrew Pickup does this phenomenally well. Whenever they launch a service, he tags people. So he tags me because we use services at Black Marketing. And it pops up in my feed. It says, Andrew has mentioned you in a post. It's great social engagement. And then I tagged him back. So I did a picture of us using the surface and then tagged him back. And then when I had this situation with the beard last being in the wrong beard last, I did a post and I tagged Wine Connect. And I also tagged Ron Kaufman, who's the expert about customer experience. And he replied back. He says, not about the glasses or the beards, about the brands creating such strong culture that the service providers feel that that is part of the cultural experience, which is what I wanted to say. To back up the fact this wasn't about the wine glasses. It was about the customer experience and training. Because if those people had actually thought about serving the wrong beer in the wrong glass, they would have actually known it was the wrong thing to do if they'd been trained properly. It's very easy to do it. So if I want to tag Rena, for example, I tag Rena like this, just do an @ and then basically put Rena's name in. And she comes up. And if I want to tag NUS, same thing happens. Put hash like @ and then NUS, and it comes up NUS. And then you can choose whether other people can mention you or not. So if I don't like a context of basically someone posting about me, for example, I disable their ability to actually tag me. you can actually turn this off if you want to. So people like Richard Branson have tagged this off, for example. Now you can hashtag topics as well. So LinkedIn's now all about hashtags. It's finally got into this. So you can hashtag things like LinkedIn or branding or content marketing. And you'll see that if you're following, the hashtags come up. So you can follow hashtags now on LinkedIn, which means if someone shares a post with that hashtag in it, it comes up on the feed. So it says innovation at the top because it's got innovation down here. And you can combine both. So people can tag you and hashtag you. So they tag you by putting the @ sign in, hashtag you by putting the hashtag it. And that way you get maximum engagement. Then you get notifications. So I saw here that Rolling Coke and 8 others liked my article, or mentioned me in a post, or mentioned me in a comment, or liked a post that mentions me, or liked your post, or liked my video, or liked to reply to this person. So constantly you get notifications about how much engagement you're getting. So don't do things like this. Nothing. And many of you are doing this. So you need to be doing more. Or this, nothing. Now groups are also interesting as well. And LinkedIn have a love-hate relationship with groups. But groups are very much good for data. So if you join a group, you get access to all their group members. And you can have up to 100 different groups. You can see who the most active groups are. You can choose the groups relevant to you and start conversations. And you can filter the group out and look at group settings, for example. And the settings should be that you don't get spammed in those groups. Because you can join these groups and you get spammed on a regular basis. But if you opt out of all the messaging, you don't get spammed. So you enjoy the benefits of the groups, the data, and the content sharing, but not spam. And then you can share in the groups as well.